The year is 1970. The top 5 for college football is Ohio State, Tennessee, Texas, Notre Dame, and Nebraska at the number 1 spot. But this year would mark the biggest tragedy in college sports history. The date was November 14th, 1970. The Marshall University Thundering Herd football team just lost to East Carolina 17-14. The team traveled by plane since the game was kind of far for it to be driving distance from their campus. But that night, that would be recognized as the worst sports-related air tragedy in U.S. history. The crash affected more than just a football team at a college. They affected the community of Huntington, which was far beyond Marshall's campus, because that was the only charter flight for the football team that season. And prominent citizens were on that plane along with boosters, including city councilmen, state legislators, and 4 physicians. 70 children lost at least one parent in the crash, and 18 of them were left orphaned. The plane crash ultimately almost led to the discontinuation of the university's football program, which was justifiable. But new head coach Jack Langell, who was already on the staff for the team who drove back instead of flying back on that unfaithful day, along with Marshall University students and Thundering Herd football fans, convinced Marshall president Donald N. Dedman to reconsider canceling the football program. Marshall had to request a waiver form to allow freshmen to compete so that they could field a complete team. Due to the age of the players on the team, Coach Langell nicknamed them the Young Thundering Herd. And they had to do this because prior to the 1971 season, the NCAA did not allow freshmen to compete in varsity football at all. In the beginning, the team only returned 3 varsity players. 2 defensive backs, Felix Jordan and Nate Ruffin, who missed the East Carolina game due to injuries, and defensive lineman Eddie Carter, who missed the game due to personal matters. But they did have 9 sophomores returning since the freshmen were not allowed to play with the varsity in 1970. Besides that, the 1971 team consisted of walk-ons, former servicemen, and 3 basketball players who had used their 5th year of eligibility to play for the football team. 50 players tried out for the team, with 35 being accepted as walk-ons. Langell dubbed the team the Young Thundering Herd. Expectations for the team were very low, to say the least, because no one had any expectations for a young team to do anything at the Division I level. But the first game, they played Morehead State, the Eagles, for the I-64 rivalry game. Despite losing 29-6, the Herd scored late in the game from a Reggie Oliver touchdown pass to Tom Smith, prompting a standing ovation from the crowd. The Young Thundering Herd team in 1971 would only go 2-8, with beating Xavier 15-13 and beating Bowling Green State 12-10. But for the school that only had football since 1962, they never found great success, with their best season being in 1964, being 7-3. They never saw any winning action until the year of 1997. On the side note, Jack Langell was only at the program for 4 seasons and only had a record of 9-33. But he brought a sense of pride of being a Marshall football player in the face of adversity for that team, bringing the football program back and making sure it didn't fall apart in memory of those players who would want it to continue. Even though the before mediocre football program, to say it at best, fell to the ground and had to be rebuilt from the ground up, it may have taken a while or, a long time for it to reach success in 1997. But since 1997, they have gone to 14 bowl games, winning 12 of them and only losing 2 of them.